Overnight, Israel attacked Iran. They aimed to decapitate their nuclear facilities and the leadership involved in the nuclear program.
Overnight, Israel launching sweeping strikes against Iran, targeting its nuclear facilities, military strikes, sites, and top commanders.
Several Iranian military leaders and nuclear scientists believed to be dead, and right now Israel is beginning to intercept drones sent from Iran in retaliation. But Israel says this is just the beginning of their operation.
Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action.
But what does that mean for small businesses? I'm going to share with you what is happening, how it's going to impact small business owners, the key impacts of what has happened versus like the one video I shot yesterday, which is what could happen. Now it has happened. What has already happened is completely different than what I had in that video. And how can we prepare as business owners? This is critical because those people who are just waiting on the sidelines that are not doing anything, those people are going to be reactionary, and we have the opportunity to be proactionary. And I'm going to share with you how it impacts us, how we can prepare as business owners, and I'm going to share towards the end what we are specifically doing about the situation, what we've already done and what we are doing as of this morning, because this event happened last night. Let's get to it. This happened in the wee hours of the night around 4 a.m. Tehran time. That was about 8 p.m. or something, our time here in the central time zone in the United States. These were large-scale attacks from Israel at the uranium enrichment facilities, the heavy water manufacturing center at Arka, and there were several decapitation strikes at key leaders in Tehran. Notably, the leadership of the Iranian Nuclear Committee is the #1 attack for the first round. But how does this impact business and trade, Hugh? That's what we came here for. I'm going to get into that right now. Yesterday, we saw that the United Kingdom Trade Organization issued the statement, hey, be wary of heightened activity in the Strait of Hormuz and the surrounding area. Of course, 48 hours before that, the U.S. State Department military bases started pulling any non-essential personnel and their families out of Baghdad, Bahrain, and Kuwait, and anywhere else in the Middle East. As of 2 days ago, oil prices already bumped 4%. And now, as you can see right here, the oil price charts of the world, crude has gone up just in the last few days. You see it spike right around here, and that is gone up by 6%, right? Just in the last day, it's been the 5.8%. Oh, no, it's 6.8 now. And so that is an extremely fast-moving target. Another big thing for business disruptions. This has already happened. We already felt the effects yesterday, and it looks like there was AWS, Amazon AWS outage, and Google Cloud Storage outage. These all happened around 2 p.m. or 1:30 to 2 p.m. yesterday during Central Time, which is crazy, and have continued to dwindle as time has been going on. But the backbone internet are often these services. So yesterday when everything dropped, we had a big issue in the fact that our Go High level ceased to function. We couldn't access it. My video editors who are video editing this video right now, it's back now, but yesterday, all of Microsoft OneDrive ceased to work. Also, in Houston, Texas, the George Bush International Airport has all flights currently grounded due to a security incident. You can see that happening here. And there is no additional information around this right now, but we're going to talk about that when it comes down to retaliation, possibly from Iran. I know the conflict seems really far away, but this is an extremely critical thing. So everybody likes to talk about Russia and China and what their capabilities are. Remember that Iran has one of the most capable cyber forces on the planet as well, and engage very well on that because they can strike anywhere at any point in time. Also, with the things that are going on in the George Bush International Airport in Houston, they just set it down for an incident. We don't know if it's related or not, but it happened almost immediately after the bombings were reported over in Iran. The key impacts on small businesses is first and foremost is going to be shipping costs and delays almost immediately are going to happen. This is really going to impact people in the United Kingdom and the people in the EU. The Strait of Hormuz, where everything passes through, is one of the key choke points of the world for global trade, and it is the fastest way to move goods from Asia up to the EU and to the UK. And now that is no longer an option for the foreseeable future. So that's going to cause impacts and delays. We're in the past, anytime there's been a historical event like this involving the Middle East, then the shipping in the Pacific rates go up immediately. More importantly than this are the seizures or just anything that's actually caught on the water. So if you already have something that's in the Strait of Hormuz or in that area, who knows what's going to happen? They're going to have to reroute. Hopefully nothing else happens, but keep an eye out. If your supply or your logistics depend on something that's going through that area right now, it could be a big deal. Oil price volatility, we just talked about that a second ago. Again, right here, we see the oil price charts. And again, we're hovering about 6% bump since everything happened. That's just in the last 2 days. According to CNBC, we should be, as the United States, the crude oil prices have bumped. From a supply standpoint, we won't be affected as badly, but time is to tell. If your industry depends heavily on crude oil prices or petrochemicals, then this could directly impact you. Could be shortages, not unlike what we saw in the first 2 to 3 months leading up to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Business owners, are you aware that I have a newsletter down below in the description, and it is full of all the tactics and stuff that if I put it on YouTube, I will be demonetized. It is a weekly newsletter that will go out telling and talking to you guys about the things that will help you and us, our businesses, stay ahead. If you're interested, check the link, click the link below. Now, back to the video. So supply chain, very uncertainty, along with shipping constraints, oil prices, if that impacts you. But the next biggest one is an increased risk in physical security and cybersecurity. All right, we've got the U.S. State Department right here having issued the security alert. The physical security things, right? While Iran does not have the capability to directly strike the mainland of the United States, that does not mean that they can't get a few terrorist acts that occur in strategic places because in wake of this event. Also, Iran is definitely within the capability of hitting strategic assets the U.S. has inside the Middle East as well. Again, keep your eyes and ears open. This security breach or security incident that has stopped all flights from the George Bush Airport, this happened shortly afterwards. We do not know what it's about. Information has not been released, but the timing of it is very, very suspicious, right? Remember, the bombing started at 8 hours Central Time, and Central Time, 8:52 p.m. this was called. So again, look at the timeline, increased security threats. Next thing is internet outages. How does it affect us, right? Again, AWS servers, the Microsoft Azure servers. We have the Google Cloud outages. Like I was saying before, Iran has extensive capabilities for cyber attacks. And everybody always thinks about, Russia and they think about China, but Iran is right up there with their capabilities and ability to do cyber attacks. So what does this mean? Well, yesterday, this directly happened and impacted us as a small business. We ended up having our go high level, which is our lifeblood to our marketing, our CRM, interacting with any of our customers. It was down. Why? Probably because there was an internet outage on the servers they use, right? If they're using AWS or something like that, then they're down. Remember, 2 months ago or 1 month ago, the entire country of Spain and Portugal lost power, and parts of southern France lost power for 24 to 48 hours. That right there was probably a cyber attack, even though they claimed it was solar weather, but there was no difference in the solar weather before or after, and there was no spike in the events. Cyber attacks could be a thing, so that could impact and be very disruptive. Again, we had no ability to accept payments for customers. We had no ability to basically interact with anybody except for manually emailing our entire list if we would have had to have that happen. Now, it's been restored right now. You can see this trend line right here has the Google Cloud outage. It spiked in the evening and it's been trending downward and pretty much non-existent now. Same thing with the Microsoft. They seem to be hit more often. And then you go to the Amazon AWS. That was just a small blip. So we don't know. Was that a cyber attack? Was that the U.S. hardening their infrastructure because we knew something was going to go down? We don't know. But 48 hours ago, the embassies were evacuated. Yesterday, we had an outage that caused a whole bunch of softwares to break. So if you have critical softwares that are required to run your company, or from a safety perspective, keep things operational, that could impact you. So keep your eyes and ears out for that. The last thing it could impact us before I move on to what we can do to prepare and what we can do right now, and then I will tell you what we are doing. But the last bit of how it could impact small businesses or businesses in general is regulatory and market changes. So there's going to be some kind of diplomatic or military backlash to this, and that could impact things drastically. So we don't know what that looks like, right? Yesterday when I said, hey, they're evacuating the embassies, that's different from today. Hey, there's military action, boots on the ground, right? There could be responses, new sanctions, shutting of things down, boycotts, embargoes, who knows what. So be wary of that. All that comes down to what can small business owners do to be prepared for this situation? First and foremost is stay informed. Look at trusted news sources. Make sure you go and you aren't just looking at the headlines that could be sensationalized. Make sure you're looking at the actual sources so you're aware of what's going on. Make sure you're following up with your logistics partners for guidance. If they are bringing freight through, I'm sure they've been all over this from several days ago. And I say this many videos. I said it in the tariff video. I said it in the steel video. I said it in the Chinese tariff video, is diversify your supply lines. Make sure you're buying from multi-sourcing at a minimum from multiple countries that don't depend on a single source of failure. Globalization was the entire goal, and a lot of people think that's bad due to the recent supply chain disruptions through COVID and all the other things that have happened. Well, no, a lot of that is everyone went to China, and it's not a global supply chain. It's a Chinese supply chain that's feeding the world. And so any disruption on the route to that or the destabilization of a specific country isn't great. So we want to make sure that even if it's not the cheapest thing, we get some multi-source places that are local to your country, hopefully, or friendly nations or nearby nations. So an example of that is we had a 20% purchase, a 20% requirement to buy raw materials from a neighboring country, and we were cross-pollinating. Even though it cost us money to do that, we retained the capability to keep our doors open. Next one is review and update your business plans. If your business depends on some kind of critical trade, some kind of component, some kind of part, if you do business in the Middle East, if you are in the UK or in the EU and you're having supply chain disruptions, if you only have a single point of failure for your software, look at your business plans and what is the bare minimum you need to survive and stay functioning. Do you have redundancies? Relook at that basis. Hedge against financial risks. I covered this in the steel tariff video, right? Last week, the tariffs in the United States went live, and we were able to act very quickly and secure the purchase of a metal building before prices went up by 50% or by $20,000. So that right there would have been money gone that we would have had to pass on to our customers. So hedge against financial security risk. If you can, see if you can't lock in prices with contracts, see if you're allowed to pay in full. Right now, if supply chains, everyone's kind of holding their breath, what's going to happen? Well, the people that are moving right now are the people that are going to be ahead of the game. We immediately were the top of the line, and we paid in full, even though we had to borrow money from them to do it. It guaranteed that we got the thing, and now it's just been a week, and everyone's now 6 months behind. But we are on the top of the pile. Our stuff is not unaffected because we were paying attention. Invest in cybersecurity. I know I just talked about financial institutions, many things going down. Make sure you have some kind of redundancy. Can you accept credit cards if you don't have internet? Can you book your hotel if you have internet? Can you, whatever the critical showstopper is, can your business still, if things go down, pass, fail, yes, no? Do you have a contingency in place for that? Invest in cybersecurity.